So happy springtime, everybody. It's kind of amazing that the pollen is already here. You can probably hear it in my throat. I can feel it in my throat. It just does not agree with me. What do you guys think about, before we get into the film? I just curious. What do you guys think about the news that we might be getting rid of the whole time change thing? Is there any thoughts on that? Are you tired of the clock switching back and forth, or do you like the fun of like, oh, we're going to fall back and spring forward in that thing? That kind of
I
thing.
could certainly do without it myself. I mean,
Exactly.
Same.
It's not fun. It's confusing.
Because my everyday job has me getting up at the crack of dawn. So if I could just keep circadian rhythm. If I can just keep it on one even keel all year, that would be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my body doesn't have to keep changing like that.
Right.
So I always love fall back because we get the extra hour. It makes me have more nighttime, which I'm a fan of more than daytime. So I say I feel like we should just keep falling back just over and over, and just keep getting that extra hour.
Right.
Good one.
Who doesn't like extra time to sleep? I mean, who doesn't want that?
That is good. Yep.
Well, thanks for joining me tonight and telling me all about your film Pseudo. And I got a chance to watch the trailer, and it looks like a very exciting thriller. So I'm very excited to hear more about it. So just real quick before we get started, just introduce yourselves and what role you played on the film.
Okay.
Briana, certainly you go first.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm Briana Cole. I'm the screenwriter, executive producer, and I do have a little part in the movie as well. You do see me, but mainly I'm very proud as the screenwriter of the movie.
Okay. I'm Herschel Grangent Jr., and I was the director, and also had a very small role, and was a long story leading up to that. Maybe we can talk about it in a moment, but I was proud to be the director for this film. Glad that Briana trusted me with her vision.
And my name is Candice Jones. I played Mimi within the film, and mine is smaller than theirs. So I don't know if they're not giving themselves much credit, but Briana did an excellent job. And I'm so thankful that I was cast to be a part of this great film.
So thank you. No, Candice is being extra modest. She had a significant part.
Yeah, she wound up stealing the show toward the end.
Right, she did.
Well, Briana, let's start with you then as the screenwriter. Let's start at the beginning. What was the inception of the story? And what I always like to ask is, as a screenwriter myself, when did you know that this was something, it went from just like, oh, that would be a cool idea, to this is going to be a significant portion of my life?
I know, right? Oh, goodness, that hindsight, I tell you, did not realize, everything that goes into making a movie. But yeah, so I had already been familiar with Herschel and Tawania's company, Sigma Square Media, because they actually produced one of my short films before. So I was very, very, pleased with what they did. I loved it. And I said, I knew I wanted to do something bigger, and I wanted them a part of it. I just knew I had to. I felt that they would get it. They kind of had the same vision. So I kind of sat down, and I'm also an author. So I took one of my books, like a concept in one of my books, and I flipped it on its head. I figured that would be the easiest, quote, easiest way to kind of write a movie, kind of, because I already had the content. I had the IP. So I said, let me just kind of see what I'm working with my books that I have. What would be the most interesting and what I could really do with. So one of my books actually is a novella in an anthology, and it's the same title. It is called Pseudo. And I took it. I love the title, and I just took that concept and flipped it on its head. And I sat down to write the script, and it was so funny because I called Herschel and Tawani. I was like, hey, y'all, what are y'all doing? Y'all want to make a movie? What are y'all doing? Y'all feel like making a movie? Or nah? So, and they were like, yeah, of course. And we just took off running from there. It was just like, again, it was just such a pleasure to, find that a team who could, our goals aligned, our visions aligned, and they read the script and they loved it. And I just was so honored that they were, supportive and wanting to be a part, because it is a passion project. It's definitely a passion project. And I really saw, kind of the longevity and where I wanted it to go. And I was happy they saw that too.
We'll talk a little bit about adapting it from the book then, because it just, there's going to be some details that are lost in translation that you think, I really got to get this in here. But then at some point you realize, oh, this is not going to work. So talk about that process a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's definitely different. I've done a little bit of ghostwriting before for other book to film adaptations, just for other authors, lots of independent budget stuff. And I say, I knew I wanted to do something for myself. So when I sat down, or anytime I sat down to kind of do a book to film adaptation, this time included, you really have to kind of come to the drawing board with a different type of vision, because it's a different medium. Like you said, it's different, reading a book versus watching a movie. And anytime that you read a book and then watch the movie version or the TV version, or however they adapt it, you'll realize that it's some stuff that they leave out. It's some stuff that they add in. It's some stuff that they change completely. New characters, that don't appear, that you're familiar with. Lots of changes there. So it was a learning experience trying to figure out, what exactly to keep, what exactly to, throw away, and kind of scale it down and fit it into 2 hours. You know what I mean? Trying to condense a huge, novella into a 2 hours thing, and just kind of really making sure you keep the pertinent stuff and that it translates well onto screen. So everything doesn't translate well onto screen. And I read a lot of screenplays. Like, I read a lot of screenplays just to kind of see the formatting and how the greats do it. How other writers are able to do that and make those characters and that narrative jump off the page, and it translates well to what we see today. So it's a lot of research, and a lot of it kind of goes in the back end just to make sure you're getting a good product there, and you can present it to your phenomenal director and producer and say, hey, this is some magic here, so.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like she said, Briana, actually, she trusted my wife, Tawani, who's an amazing producer, with her short film, which was called Patient 47. It's currently streaming on YouTube. And so when she presented this particular project to us, we already knew who we were dealing with. So it was a no-brainer to work with her again. And that, to bring something thrilling like this to life we were just so proud to be a part of another project with her. And this has become more than we even imagined it could have been.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about what interested you so much in the project, especially after getting the script or maybe even reading the book. What was it that you knew this would make a good film?
Well, what I liked about the project, number one, it's a thriller. I'd never really been involved in anything like that. But number two, the way it tackled the issue of mental illness in the Black community is not something that's talked about a whole lot, especially Black men. We're raised from a very early age, get that depression out of your head. You're not depressed. No, you just need to work harder.
Right. Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I've had a couple friends commit suicide and go down the road to drugs and things like that because they suppressed their feelings for so long. So it was good to see a lead character dealing with that sort of thing and be able to overcome it and to see how he navigates that, because once you get that stigma of having a mental illness, sometimes that's worse than the mental illness because people, oh, you're just crazy. Oh, he's crazy. There he goes again. So to see him be able to overcome that, it was a challenge. And working with Jimez, who I think is actually on right now, who's an amazing actor and able to bring all those emotions to life, he made it easy as a director, to just push that onto the screen. And I think everyone's really going to enjoy this.
Nice. Yeah, we do have a new guest. Hey, welcome.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Hey, there we are. All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Well, glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, you're just in time. You and Candice can talk about acting in the film, and real quick breakdown what your role was in the film, and then you and Candice can talk about your experiences acting in this production.
Oh, great. Well, Candice, did you already go?
I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I played Malcolm. He is a young professional who's going through a very hard time and who's dealing with a lot of going-ons in his life, for lack of say. But he's also dealing with a lot of trauma triggered by the loss of his mom. And he's looking for love. And he was in a vulnerable situation that found him to find love on the internet, where he ended up getting double-crossed. Can I give away stuff about the movie, or are we trying to keep everything a mystery? I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, that's up to y'all.
I think let's do a non-spoiler this time.
Yeah.
A non-spoiler.
Okay.
Right.
But he really he looks for love, and he finds it. But is he really seeing love, or is love playing him? He's a man with a lot of inner decisions to make, but he's also battling with a mental illness himself, which is trauma impacted. It was something he did not see coming, and it disrupts the order of his life in a major way.
And then, so both you and Candice talk about maybe just like, was there an audition process, or how did you end up in the film and working with this team?
Well, yes, there was an audition process, and it was cut and dry, pretty simple. The audition was sent out, and I read for the character. I sent it in, did a self-tape, and got the call back. I was really excited about that. And so once, we got the script, and we did a table reading, a Zoom table meeting, and it went very well. Once everyone was cast together and we just gelled, and you could just hear all of the chemistry together, that we gelled really well. We were all just really excited. Once we went through the entire story, it was like, okay, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be fire. We're ready to get started. So it was awesome.
Nice.
Yes. Actually, my wife, Twania, and we had worked with Jimez on a short film that she wrote entitled Shiva. He had a small role in that. But even with the small role, I saw something with him, just the way he was able to take a small role, which was mostly emotions and emoting on camera, and just portray everything we wanted to portray. We automatically knew that once this project came along, that he would be near the top of the list of people that we would try to get to play Malcolm, and he knocked it out of the park. So he made me look like a genius.
And working with a thriller like this has to be interesting, especially as you talk about the whole mental health issues that arise in the film. Maybe talk a little bit about that, about from directing and the maybe writing and acting side, about balancing that kind of fine line between, you want to be respectful to people who are maybe going through certain issues or whatever, but also you have to tell this great story. You know what I mean?
Right. And a lot of times the way to be respectful is to just tell the story, just put it out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And and Malcolm does deal with some things maybe a little self-inflicted, but at the same time, it's because he is dealing and trying to heal, and at the same time trying to live a normal life. And there are some factors at play that are just really fighting against that. But I think that any one of us, like as a Black man myself, who has dealt with some depression issues before, long time ago, but I can see myself in that, having to navigate those waters. So, like I said, just the way to be respectful of the stories is to just tell the story and just put it out there, because someone will see something and be able to relate to it.
Absolutely. And I agree completely with Herschel. I think it also comes down to, as he just said, being relatable, and staying true to that narrative, not making fun of it, but really, putting that spotlight on this actually takes place. You know what I'm saying? You have people who are having to grapple with different mental health situations as kind of internally, and they may not be as vocal about it, but this is some of the stuff that they have to go through. And it's true. And I was really, really proud. We had a premiere of the movie back in August of last year. And I was actually very surprised, but very proud when someone, actually one of the other cast members, her daughter spoke up. She was vocal, at the premiere, and said that she actually has the same mental health issue going on, just like Jimez or Malcolm did in the movie. And she said that she was happy that we had did it justice because she could relate to that. That is stuff that she goes through. And I think that was, a very proud moment for all of us because we were able to bring a true narrative to the screen and still make it relatable. I mean, you have the romance, you have the humor, you have, plan, and you have the light moments, you have the, the peaks and the valleys of the whole journey, just kind of going through Malcolm's character arc. And I'm just so, just amazed at how Jimez was able to bring that to life. And it's just, it really pops off the screen.
Definitely.
Jimez, talk about it from your perspective about portraying Malcolm.
I believe they said it. It's the best way to tell it is to be true to the character and the script. But at the same time, I always believe that actors, we're responsible for filling in the white space in the script. And Briana did such a great job at writing Malcolm. And instantly after the first read, sometimes you kind of sing the song. But as I got to study him and continue going, what I wanted to really filter out was, how does the medication honestly affect him? How is that taking an effect on him as he changes throughout the script? That's not right in your face. Because sometimes in Malcolm's case, there was an area where he was trying to have control over his life, because that was his way of embracing some type of sanity. But in other areas, you see in the script that he gets driven. He's not the one driving the ship anymore. And how does he honestly respond to that when he's medicated and when he's not?
Definitely.
Yeah, and kind of going on what they're saying, we did not hesitate to show, some of that stuff as well. And that's why I could appreciate Candice in her role as Mimi. She took the opportunity, that character was one that kind of represented, the world as far as how someone dealing with a mental, health situation, how they may appear to others. And so Mimi's character, Candice brought her to life, being able to communicate that just some of the stereotypes and some of the things that the world may say when they're presented with someone like, "Are you acting crazy?" and stuff like that. And it was a great opportunity between them to really, shed more light. And Malcolm was able to kind of relate to the Mimi character about, no, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what's going on, and to increase that understanding. So the movie was a way to entertain, but as well, but educate too. You know what I mean? But without people thinking they're getting educated, but they are.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Candice, what, how about you? Any thoughts?
I agree 100%. I mean, Jimez knocked it out of the park, as everyone has already been saying, with his portrayal. His acting skills are just superb to bring that to light. And I agree with what was just said as well. Sometimes we as a people are so quick to call someone crazy without knowing the backstory, without knowing their condition, without having any research or any knowledge about what they may be experiencing or going through. And so my character kind of portrays, the rest of the world, how we will respond when someone's actually trying to open up their heart and be transparent about what they're going through. And then, being a little bit lighter, showing that empathy and showing that there are actual people and this is a serious disorder that needs to be discussed. So it like they said, it has some light moments, it has the entertainment, but it also helps to show the sensitivity that we also need to have towards people who are having any type of mental disorder.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to take the audience on a ride also. We did some things, not some special effects thing, but a little sleight of hand with some character placement to make the audience think that, wait, is Malcolm thinking that, or am I thinking that? Hold on a second. Did I see what I think I just saw?
Yeah.
So that was fun too. It was fun putting that in there.
Right. I can definitely say that I had a lot of family members to watch it, and they're texting me back and forth. So is this going on? So is this really it? So let me see. I really think she's fake, and this is what's going on. So it takes you on that mental, like they said, mental roller coaster of trying to guess the outcome when you think you know, but you have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. And something that I could say just on Malcolm's and Mimi's chemistry to that, I love that Candice played Mimi so every day. Like she wasn't just overly. No, this means that she's like Mimi wasn't this overly compassionate person who saw Malcolm as this person struggling and may I come and help you or save you.
Right.
She didn't have a savior mentality,
she was real.
but she didn't also have like a super PBS bully type of mentality.
Right.
The way he brought her out with the comedy and with even the I can't say that, but even with her first interaction with Malcolm was like, what? But how still in her eyes, if you look into those big, brilliant, wonderful eyes, you see that this is a real person who may not be super compassionate or empathetic, but she understands that life is hard for everybody.
Yes.
Exactly.
And she's able to meet with Malcolm on this level. And I think that's like the subconscious lesson that this film teaches. It's like, hey, even if we're normal people, we have super normal ability to help somebody and to be there for somebody and accept them in sometimes their darkest and lowest place.
Oh, yeah. Mimi was actually the hardest character for me to write, honestly.
Oh,
believe it or not, because believe it or not, y'all, because she went through several rounds of edits with script coverage and, kind of going through, because just like you said, Jimez, it was a fine line that, you were trying to walk with her, because you didn't want her to be just this overly to pacify and baby him, but you didn't want her to be like a bully and insensitive. You know what I mean? It was like you really
kept
had
it real with them. She definitely kept
grounded.
It real.
Yeah, grounded in reality there, authentic, and have a true voice. But she kind of had to, have that good balance. So the Mimi character definitely went through a few edits to get it right. And so Candice, girl, you brought it to
life. Thank you. Well, kudos to your writing, because you have to write it as if we are real people,
Right.
What would someone like this really say? So kudos to you, definitely.
So productions mid-swing, there's some crazy problem that pops up, and you think, oh man, I've got to remember this for the future to do this differently. What is that issue that popped up, and what is it that you learned to take forward to the future for future productions?
Hell, COVID.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of us how we navigated that. We made sure that everyone got their regular COVID test, and because when we began production, of course, the vaccine was not available, so we had to make sure everyone was tested, temperature checks, and mask between takes and stuff like that. So we were over the top careful, and I'm thankful, and my wife is thankful that no one got sick on set with us. So we were very, very proud of that part of it. So that was the biggest challenge for me, I think.
Yeah, I would say for me, you have to keep in mind, this is my first, experience just throughout the entire process, from script writing to post-production and then distribution and everything. So, for me, I would just, from the backside, I would just be a little bit more, I would do things a little bit different with how we distribute the film. Like, we end up getting it, on a great, with a great distributor on a great platform, and it's still more to come. So I'm happy about that. But it took some time, because it was like being shopped around with another distributor who they weren't really doing what they were supposed to do. And, maybe they weren't properly vetted. I'm not sure, but they were referred. And it just was a lot of back and forth trying to we had this finished film. It was great. It was wonderful. We had this great sold out premiere. It was amazing. And then it was like, where are we going to put it? We really want to do it justice and get it, in front of as many eyes as possible on a nationally streaming platform if possible. So how do we get from A to B? So for me, it would just kind of be a lot more, I guess, doing more due diligence and research earlier. So by the time we're done, we're already kind of ready to, you know what I'm saying, to get it where it needs to go. Because that kind
I
of
have to agree with that. Definitely agree with that. I mean, as an independent filmmaker, you know, that's one of the things that you deal with, because there are a lot of independent projects that never see the light of day. And it becomes almost an annoyance because your family's like, so when can I see it? When can I see it? Where is it? Where is it? I thought you did a film. Where is it? Where's this film y'all did? So you got to start to almost second guess yourself. So yeah, I definitely agree with Briana on that. That make sure that you know what the end game is, so at least you can put the steps in place early before you get to the end.
Yeah, my family and friends was treating this movie like a girlfriend in Canada.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you did a movie? Really? Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but
like,
now I'm like, gotcha.
Right.
And everybody that doubted it, they're like, yo, I thought you was crazy, B. The twist was insane. Got people calling me from all over the place talking about this film.
Awesome.
But if I could tag onto that, some I did learn from this being my first feature where I was the lead. Pressure is an amazing teacher, but the people that you work with could teach you great lessons. And the lesson that I've taken from Pseudo, that I've taken to every production I've done since, was to smile. Smile always. Because one thing I can say about this, I know everybody in their personal life and professional life was going through the business with COVID and producing a film. But when I tell you, Briana, Hersh, Tawanya always showed up to work with a smile.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Always was like, we gonna get to it. We gonna get through it.
Yes,
and just to see that, because I'm still like a kid in a while. I learn way more from watching you than what you tell me.
Wow.
So that, just seeing that in the perseverance, because when you're a lead, you get to be on set a lot. Just like compared to a day player where you're there like 2-3 days and it's over. I got to spend like almost 15-20 days with these people, and to see Briana show up consistently every day, same energy, smiled up. Yeah, we're gonna get this through. Yeah, we're gonna get it done. Even after it was over, same energy, consistent, premiere, big time. We're doing this regardless of whatever we went through. So resilience was the biggest teacher for me in creating this film. And I thank everybody for that.
No, thank you. Yeah, you man.
And this, I guess, too, it just kind of comes down to like Jimez is saying. You just have a newfound appreciation for this process when you are surrounded by a group of people who share that same passion. Like Candice doesn't even live in our area, but she drove down. She drove down to come to set, you know, when she was called. It was just like, it was just wonderful just having everybody, you know, share that same passion. It ended up being a passion project for everyone. And I think that is kind of, you know, that is what shows in the film, in the finished product, you know?
Candice, how about you? Any lessons learned?
Yes, definitely. Teamwork makes the dream work. I mean, ditto to everything Jimez said. I mean, that was it in a nutshell. But teamwork definitely makes the dream work. Everyone had that energy of, we're here to work and we're going to make this amazing film and let's do it. You know, we're ready. I think once you learn the script and we know our purpose, number one, why we're there, and everyone showed up with excellence, you don't want to be the weak link. you know, everyone was so professional and organized and ready and on time. So you're going to come and you're going to show up with excellence as well. So I love that we all work together. Again, we gelled great. I mean, they just did an excellent job with casting and the team put together. And so it teaches you, if you've never been on a set before, this is what excellence looks like. Even though, you know, it is an independent film, we can still do things on a top, you know, level, you know. That's and you're ready to move forward. So if you can be trusted with little, you can be trusted with much. And that's what the lesson is to everyone who comes to set with this production. It was great.
Indeed, yeah. Just can't say enough about the professionalism. It was
definitely,
because I've worked with some up and coming actors, and you'll hear them say things like, "Well, on a real set, we would do this," and
come on,
pause, sir. This is a real set.
Mm-hmm. For sure, definitely.
Well, going back to distribution, that's definitely a great point. It's just how long things take to get out there. How do you talk a little bit how you found yourself on Fox Soul, just the process of getting there, and also keeping that energy up where you just don't dump it on like YouTube or something, like forget it,
Yeah.
Because if it's after so much time and you talk about people like getting in your ear like, aha, you really made this movie, it can be really frustrating. So yeah, I guess just dive a little bit deeper into that if you don't mind.
Well, I really was just so proud of, like I said, the finished product, and just saw how much, from the beginning, I just knew I wanted to make this kind of, on a platform of some sort, if at all possible. So and then when we had that finished product and I saw the quality and I saw, from everything from the soundtrack and the music and just everything that was put into it, it made me even more determined, like, no, let me kind of do everything that I can. Look, use every tool that I know and every, favor I can call in and do what I need to do to try to make this happen. Use every connection. Let's see what we can do. I owe it to the team. I owe it to the whole Pseudo family. So, like I mentioned earlier, I already had it in the hands of one distributor that I found, and I network in a lot of groups on social media, like between Twitter and Facebook and everything, and then you referrals and, I use them, so you just kind of filter it down to, okay, let me, try this avenue. So I found a particular distributor, and we signed I think it was a 4-month kind of exclusive rights for them to be able to shop the movie around. Okay. So for 4 months, I couldn't touch it. They had it. So I was like, well, but they kind of, gave me those assurances. Oh yeah, we're going to pitch it here and pitch it here and pitch it there. But the lack of communication to me was unsettling. You know what I mean? That to me, that was for your project, for your baby, it's like, that's unsettling to me. So I didn't really, like them not being as transparent as I would have cared to be. So once the 4 months was up, they said, quote, said they had a platform that was interested, but they would never tell me who. And they would never tell me. And I felt like I was getting run around. And I was like, do you really have a platform or you just like dangling a carrot? You know what I mean? Is it Netflix? Like, what are y'all doing here? So I just did not, I just told them, never mind, I'm just going to look elsewhere. So I'd already gotten wind of Dame Dash Studios actually kind of collaborating with Fox Soul and collaborating with Tubi and all of these platforms just to kind of help independent creatives, independent filmmakers and stuff like that. And I already saw that another distributor, Homestead Entertainment, I actually saw the fruits of these particular distributors. I saw their films up on Tubi. I was familiar with other filmmakers who, were the ones who, I actually produced this movie and yes, it's up there. So I kind of, again, pulled my resources and I said, well, you know what, I'm gonna send it out to them and see what they say. So I sent it out to Dame Dash Studios. They got back to me like a week later. They told me that they had received the movie. They were going to review it, give them about a week or two or what have you. And I said, okay, cool. Well, I mean, what they can say is no, right? What can we do? So then they came back and he emailed me and he said, hey, can you jump on a call today? And I was like, yeah, of course. So we got on a call with the director of acquisitions over there. And he was just like, hey, we loved it. We loved it. We definitely see a placement for it. It will be great kind of under the umbrella of Dame Dash and Homestead Entertainment. And we would love to work with you. And everything just lined up. I looked at the contract. Everything was on the up and up. They were very transparent, overly communicating, just this, that, and the other, answering all of my questions. And I felt really, really good about this collaboration. And I mean, it's Dame Dash. I mean, just being able to leverage that name alone, it gives it a lot more credibility there. So I figured that would be a beautiful partnership. So we signed on with them in December. And then, they said that Fox Soul was definitely one that they said we're going to aim for, but not all of their movies get on Fox Soul, you see. Not all of their movies. All of their movies go to Tubi, yes, but not all of their movies go to Fox Soul. So I kind of was like, well, this is me putting little nuggets in their ear. If we could get Pseudo on Fox Soul and Tubi, that would be awesome. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the smile. Maybe it was a couple of extra compliments. I don't know what happened, but
There's no feminine wiles.
Yeah, that's what it is. a little bit of extra, a little glint in the eye. So it's still going to be on Tubi, but apparently Tubi is a little bit backed up right now because they release weekly. I want to say every Friday and or Saturday they release like a dump of movies. There's like a big docket of movies they release only once or twice a week. So apparently they're kind of backed up. So we are still going to Tubi. That was the game plan, was to get there first and then kind of move into Fox. So, but Omar, the guy over there at the Dame Dash Studios, said that, once he saw that it was being a huge delay with Pseudo, he really wanted to get it up and running. So he said, yeah, let me kind of make some calls, talk to some people and get it on Fox Soul first. And then we'll do the Tubi platform. So it's still coming on Tubi, but we were just so thrilled when we saw it on Fox Soul. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So it's up there. And then, we just kind of letting it circulate, referring everybody there, hoping people go click the link. The Fox Soul app is free also. You don't even need an account or anything. Just go download the app and go right under the Dame Dash feature films. He has his own little corner, I guess, of Fox Soul where all of his movies are. And it's about maybe like 7 or 8 of them up there.
Right, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So we're really happy about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, you talk about not settling, and you could have easily just let things ride with those other clowns, and or just whatever. But you said, you knew the value of what you had made, in other words, and that you wanted to get it to the most amount of people possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's you're always going to be the biggest champion of your baby, as
Absolutely.
You call it. Yeah, you have to be.
Absolutely.
You have to be.
Yes.
As we kind of wind down, tell everyone where to find information about the movie. I mean, you kind of went over it a second ago, but just specifically like websites, and also we want to hear any other projects you got going on, and Instagram profiles and all that kind of stuff, where we can keep track of your careers.
Okay. Well, yes, you can go to pseudothemovie.com. That's pseudo, Pseudo, themovie.com. That's the website where you'll see all of the cast and crew bios, the information about the soundtrack and the artists who were a part of that wonderful project, where to stream, and things of that nature. So everything is under the pseudothemovie.com website. Of course, we have a few social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Pseudo Movie, and Instagram, Pseudo the Movie, Pseudo the Movie. Again, that's where you can find all of the good stuff up there, things that the cast and crew or other projects they're doing, all that good stuff as well, in addition to nice marketing stuff that we have going for the Pseudo Movie. And when we start streaming to other platforms, all of that stuff will be posted there, as well as the soundtrack and other things that we're doing as well. As far as me personally, you can go to brianacole.com. That's my website, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well, and Twitter and TikTok. I'm just kind of everywhere. Try to get a little bit, get in front of as many people as possible. But if you Google brianacole.com, I will come up, because I do have other projects in addition to, the movie. Of course, that's my big project that I'm really, really proud of. But I'm also an author. I'm also an actress as well. So anything, all my books and all of that good stuff is on my website, as well as my Facebook and Instagram, Be Cole Author. So you can kind of get a little taste of other stuff I'm doing, other movies I'm writing. I've optioned a TV series. I've written 2 more movies, one of which I'm going to be calling Herschel and Tawania to produce as well. So, so yeah, we got a lot in the works there.
Okay. And for myself, so I got several things going on, working on several scripts right now. Actually working on a horror concept that I'm hoping to finish and be shooting by this summer. It's untitled, but it should be something a little different. I'm kind of proud of it, so we'll announce it at some point. But you can find me on Instagram, Herschel Jr. The Voice. I do voiceover work as well. Got a radio background, but that's another day. to talk about that. Herschel Jr. Du Bois on Instagram. You can also find my wife, Tawania Grangent Enterprises on Instagram. And we're also under the Grangent Entertainment Group umbrella. So it'll be Grangent Entertainment Group. You can just Google that and find our website. There's several short films on YouTube right now. We're looking to actually, now that we know the way, we're looking to actually get them off of YouTube and take them in some different directions. But we have a lot of things going on. We're actually producing a play right now. I'm actually at rehearsal for that play. So we have a lot of things going on. So we'll definitely try to keep everyone updated.
Oh, that's great.
All right. For me, my name is Candice with an I. So it's Candice L_Jones. That's my Instagram. Facebook is just Candice Jones. I actually have my own LLC where I teach beginners for actors. I do stage plays. I've written and produced my own stage plays before I came to Georgia. So I have 13 under my belt, hoping to do another one by the end of this year. I'm doing a dinner theater that I'm trying to produce this summer. And I'm doing a acting workshop for beginners actually next month. So I would love if you all are interested in the Athens Commerce area. That's where that will be. And I just thankful so much again to Briana and Herschel and Tawania and everyone just again for this great opportunity. I'm just ecstatic about it. Glad to be a part and check us all out. Everyone's just so amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. For me, Jimez Alexander, that's spelled Jimez Alexander. That's for my Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Currently, I am directing a play for Camp Magic, which is a camp for grieving teens and children who have been impacted by a loss. So I'm directing 2 shows, which is Fragments, Impressions of Grief, and Uncle Gherkin's Magical Show. We do that on April 30th. So this is a journey for a play that I used to play in 5 years ago, and now I'm directing it. So it's an honor. I'll be doing an encore of the play Fly in New Orleans at the World War II Museum in May, as well as the opening of View Orleans, which is it is a new museum in New Orleans that covers like historical figures, and I'm in there as a hologram. So that will be released. I play a hologram of Noel K.A., and that will be released in May. And other than that, I'm still working, still grinding, open to film work, and I've written 2 short films that I'm hoping to get produced this summer and pitched. So just nose to the grindstone right now. My agent is Beverly Brock, and I'm with the Brock Agency. So if you want to book me or you have any auditions, Dame Dash, if you're watching, Paid in Full too. Hey, put me in that running. Just shout out. But yeah, but just contact me. I'm very personable. Thank you.
Well, that's great. Yeah. And I really appreciate y'all coming on today and telling me about the film. I can't wait to go check it out. And everyone else, make sure to go see it. And good luck with the success of this film and all your future projects.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much.